Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So I was sent this foundation. This is the Skin Shield Anti-Pollution Foundation. So I just got this foundation. So this is my first time trying with you guys on camera as well. So yes, let's just get started with it because I have a lot of points that I want to cover in this video. Now, for reference, I have oily skin, and during the summers, my T-zone especially becomes even more oily. And I like a dewy finish to my foundation. I do not like a complete matte finish. I like a subtle glow showing through my foundation. So along with the foundation, I will send this shade card. It has all the shades that are available in this range. Then it has all the special features of the foundation in terms of what your expectations should be. So yes, this is the card. Then let's talk about the product. This is what it looks like. The ingredient list is also present on the back of this box. And this is what the tube looks like. It's pretty handy. You get 30 ml of product in it. Actually, I like this packaging. I like this sort of tube packaging because for me personally, it's very convenient. It's not as heavy. I can travel with this foundation. Pretty classy and minimal. I like it. Along with that, this product is not animal tested, which is a good thing about Nykaa Cosmetics as a whole. So first, I'm just going to stamp the product all over my face. Now on this side of my face, I'm going to use a sponge, and on the other side of my face, I'm going to use a buffer brush. Now it is drying out, so you can't let it sit on your face for too long. You have to blend it as you go. The coverage is pretty good. And this is what it looks like, all blended out with a sponge. I shouldn't have applied the foundation on both sides of my face, but still you can see a difference. It is pretty good coverage, medium coverage, and it has well hidden all of my darkness around my eyes and especially my under eye area. And my skin is doing pretty good, so I don't think I'll be needing another layer, but let's see. So as you can see, it has dried out because I was talking and shit, but yes, I'll just try and blend it out. It is a semi-matte finish, so it will dry down. It's not much of a surprise there. I shouldn't have let it sit on my face. So this is what it looks like with one layer. Personally, this is sufficient for me. I do not use more foundation than this. I do not need any more coverage. But since I want to test out how it layers up, because the way a foundation layers up tells a lot about the product. So I'm just going to take half of that amount to highlight my face. So as you can see, the foundation is pretty thick. It's not falling out. It's pretty creamy. And I don't know if you can tell, but my skin, there's still a little bit of shine going on my nose and on this area. So I like the finish, which says a lot about this foundation because I do not like matte foundations. So yes, let's highlight. Pretty good. Blend it out with a sponge. 2 layers of foundation versus 1 layer of foundation. It looks pretty great. On this side, I'm just going to stamp it with the sponge itself. I'm not going to use my finger to first apply it. Just a pea-sized amount and apply it on the centers of my face. This time I'm going to use a brush. Because the sponge is sort of sharing out the coverage, I want it to perform at its capacity. All done, and this is what it looks like. It layered up pretty nicely, and so I'm using some powder on my eyelids. First blend that creasing out, and then some powder. Usually I do not powder my entire face because, like I said, I like a dewy finish. But I'm just going to powder my under eyes because this is the area which creases up really bad, like for me. So far, this is what it looks like. So when I picked my foundation shade, I went a little darker. My shade is number 10 Golden Hour. So whenever I'm in doubt, I always go darker. But this still looks a little white on me, so I'm not so sure about the shade right now. But you know what? I'll do my full face of makeup. I'll come back and then let's see if this foundation oxidizes. Now let's talk about the claims that Nykaa has for this foundation. Number one, it's anti-pollution. I can't really test that aspect. You will get to know how it works as an anti-pollution foundation if you wear it out, and if you do it for a couple days, you will be able to notice a difference or not. So for this anti-pollution aspect, they have this ingredient in this foundation, which is biosaccharide gum 4, which creates sort of a shield on your face, which protects your face from pollution. So I looked up this ingredient on the internet and the claims hold true, which is great. Number two, it's hydrating. It has oil control features in it. It reduces your pore size. So I do not have a lot of open pores, so I'm not sure how it reduces pore size. Because in order to do that, the foundation has to be a little, sticky and kind of stretchy, which I do not feel, which is a good thing in my opinion. But I don't know how it reduces pore size. Then the satin matte finish, which again is true. So before I say anything about this issue, I want you to look at all the swatches, okay? The shade that I chose is this one, Golden Hour. And then look at this. So when I was selecting the foundation, I was provided with swatches on the forearm and then these virtual kind of swatches. And I was certain that I was choosing a shade which was a little darker than my skin tone. Because whenever I'm in doubt, I always go darker because I can always make a darker foundation work for me. The shades look much darker than they actually are. Like, this is my personal opinion. I hope this oxidizes a little bit because my face looks pretty white as compared to my neck and this décolletage area. So yes, that is that. So I did not powder my entire face. I only powdered my under eyes and my eyelids. So yes, let's see how it holds up. So it's been almost 8 hours since I've been wearing this foundation. Needless to say, I'm really tired, but my foundation hasn't budged even a little. I mean, my face sure has become very shiny, but that's because I haven't blotted my face or even powdered my face. I haven't touched any of this, and I'm pleasantly surprised. Another thing that I would like to mention before going away is that this shade was a little lighter to my skin tone. My face looked a little white as compared to my body, and it did not oxidize. It stayed the same lighter shade, which I actually really liked. Anytime that I've used a foundation lighter to my skin tone, this area always turns gray. In this case, the shade was lighter to my skin tone, but it did not turn gray, which is actually, I'm very surprised. It never happens. So let's talk about the coverage. As claimed by Nykaa that it's a medium to full coverage foundation, it holds true. You can layer it up, it layers up beautifully. You can even use it as a full coverage foundation. So now let's talk about its staying power. How long does it actually stay? My skin is pretty oily and the foundation has been on my face for almost 8 hours and it's still there. So I would say it can easily stay up to up to 10 hours. In my opinion, because if it has stayed on my face so nicely for almost 8 hours, it can definitely go up to 10 hours. The finish is definitely satin matte. It is not completely matte. As you saw while applying the foundation, there was a little glow going on. It did not completely mattify, which I absolutely loved. Over time, since my face became more oily, it had generated a lot of sebum, so my face became shinier. over time. But then again, the foundation was satin matte to begin with. I don't know if it's sweat proof, so let's give that a try. It only picked just the tiniest amount of product, as you can see. I think only because I pressed the tissue too hard on my face. So I think it's safe to say that it is sweat proof because you won't be jamming the tissue so hard on your face to begin with. So if you just lightly blot your face, powder your face, I think it will stay on for a good 10 plus hours. So coming to an end to this video, I think it holds true to all of the claims put forward by Nykaa. The only thing that bugs me is the shade range. The shade range is actually pretty versatile. It's very good. Even the shade that I got was true to its color. The color that came out of this tube went the exact same on my face. It stayed like that. It did not oxidize. It's still that same color. So the shade range is not actually the problem. I think the problem is the swatches. The swatches were a little misleading, probably because of the different lights. So in order to combat that, what you can do is visit a Nykaa store. Nykaa has their stores all over the nation. They have one in Bhopal. So if they have one in Bhopal, I'm pretty sure they have one in all the major cities. So what you can do is visit a Nykaa store, do a swatch, and then pick up your foundation, because I've seen a lot of different swatches over the internet by different bloggers and by Nykaa themselves. All the swatches were a little off. So that's the only thing. Other than that, I loved this foundation probably more than I was expecting to. So I would definitely recommend this foundation to everybody out there. And because it's summers, I think even dry skin people can get away with this foundation, because summers may usually people's skin becomes a little oily as compared to other seasons. And for people with oily skin, it's amazing. You don't even have to give this a second thought. Just find your right shade and get this foundation. You will not regret it. So that was it for this video. I hope you liked this video and I hope you found this review, useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.